Alrighty, y'all. So first off, I'll show you. I had to go buy a tire tube for my bicycle. So I hopped over to Walmart and then found a great deal on the Rotella T oil over on the clearance rack. I got it for, looks like it was $40.77. Got it for 21 bucks, 2.5 gallons of 10W30. So there's basically the lawnmower oil for the rest of the season. Did that on the same trip I got this trade in. The guy actually came to me and bought one of my cheap, 20-inch Murrays this morning. I renewed that one ad on Craigslist and gotten, I don't know how many calls about them this morning. But it's a 6.5 horsepower overhead valve John Deere. Guy gave it to me, and there's a High Point, North Carolina sticker on it from where it was been serviced. Upon first inspection, it's full of oil. Oil is a little dirty. Haven't checked the air filter yet on it. I'll get the screws off and check that. But it's got the 3-speed self-propel. I have to figure out something with the cable here. I think I could muster up another cable. Looks like it still works, but obviously it's extremely frayed and on its last leg. So I'll look into that back here. It is obviously self-propel. Still got the chute on it still, and it's got the 360-degree wheels on it. Also here in the front. Trying to start it, it's acting like it's getting too much gas. It is full of gas. It smells fresh, so I'm gonna put this down here. I'm gonna see if I can start this thing up. Everything I'll show y'all under the deck real quick too. Under the deck looks nice and clean. Blade's got a couple nicks in it. I'll sharpen it up, but the belt looks to be in decent shape. So we'll start this thing up and see. We'll see if we can get it started. So it does run. Let's see if I can get it started back again and see if the self-propel works on it. So you and I both saw this here. It did start up. So running a little bit rough. It might need a carburetor cleaning, or it might simply just need to be run, but it is running fast. So I think that something has been messed with on the carburetor linkage here, which we'll give a look after I get the air filter off. But yeah, the guy just said he just wanted to get it out of his hair. Let me have it. All I had to do was drive 20 minutes to pick it up. So we'll keep working on it, see what we need to do to it. So the air filter's not too bad. It was dirty. I blew it out. It's getting plenty of air through it still when I blow through it. So I think it'll be okay. Like I said, not the best, but I don't have any of those on hand, unfortunately. Push the spring back a little bit because y'all heard it was running pretty fast. I'm gonna take it to the bottom and I'm just gonna run it a little while and see if it'll stay running, if it'll clear up also, since y'all heard it was running a little bit jumpy, but that might have been just because it was running too fast, but we shall see. So I let it run for a little bit, and it ran good, but it was stumbling every once in a while. So I took the just the bowl off of it. So I felt like I didn't really need to take the whole carburetor off of it, since it was still running pretty decent. We got a little bit of sediment in there. Looks like a little bit from old gas too, but definitely not the worst that I've seen. So I'm gonna clean that out. Put it back on, see if we can make it run just a little bit better. It's running pretty good as it is, but it's still stumbling here and there, like I said. So we're much cleaner now, as you can see. Just a little carb cleaner and a rag. Put some carb cleaner on that portion of the carb too, just with it sitting on there. So I'll get it back on, I'll crank it up and see if it runs any better. Alright, let's see how this thing runs, if it runs any better. Still stumbling a little bit, but it might be just a shade better than it was. But all I've done so far, this has the locking mechanism here, and I've lubed up everything so the wheel lockers work on it, but that one came off over here, so I have to figure out a better way to put it on. But I might tackle the self-propel cable next. So with the way it's running, it almost sounded like it was running a little rich, which may not always be the carburetor's case. And if y'all heard it running a little earlier, it did sound a little weird at the exhaust, which has led me to take the engine cover off, and has led me to take the gas tank off, which it's missing one of the nuts here for the gas, or one of the bolts for the gas tank, and it's also missing the one on the bottom. So that means somebody's been in it before. I'm gonna check the flywheel key. It might be partially sheared, which is causing it to run a little weird and bucking around and stuff like that. Blade is smooth. Blade looks good. It's just bucking around a little bit, and so might be the flywheel key. But I'll take all these off. We'll see. Overhead valve engine's got a little bit bigger pull rope cover on it, but it's still the same deal. You got your 3 nuts, gas tank, or 3 bolts for your gas tank, and then one that's supposed to be down here. You take it off, pull it back. You've got 2 right here, and you've got 2 in the back that you take off, and that'll get you to where I'm going to show y'all next. So here we are at the flywheel now. It's a John Deere JS63C. I haven't shown y'all that yet. And according to the engine cover, December of 2000, so we're talking about, 16, 17 years old. But you can see this had some good use, but that deck is still in excellent shape. It's barely even missing any paint. Has just a little bit of rust here and there. But next thing in order is your 15/16 socket. Put it on here. And all you gotta do is give her a turn. I'm gonna need 2 hands, but I'm gonna take this off. Take this little flywheel or pull rope grabber off here. We'll see if the flywheel key's sheared. So this thing almost had me tricked when I thought it was a fuel related issue at first. But let's take a look here. And you're like, it's not that far off, is it? No, but you know, you got your precise timing. I don't know if y'all can see it. There's the slot, and the key is just a shade off, and that'll cause it to run a little rich or do what it's doing. So I got a bunch of flywheel keys. Little plastic cover comes off there. Gonna take find a pressure point somewhere on this thing, and I'm gonna pop the flywheel off, put a flywheel key on here. And when you do this, it's good to have your blade brake tied back, and also you can unplug your spark plug boot also. That'll help make sure 100% that it's not going to start on you. But yeah, so usually haven't really broken any flywheels like this, but usually I'll just stick a screwdriver in there, just kind of wedge it, lightly tap it in, and then I'll take a hammer or something and I'll tap the top of this, and usually it'll fly off. I put the nut back on, and I use safety goggles because these things will pop off like crazy sometimes. I do put the nut back on a little bit so that it doesn't completely fly off on us. But yeah, partially sheared flywheel key. How about that? So that was about the easiest flywheel I've ever had come off. And you could see that's the side that got sheared just slightly. I mean, you're talking just barely. But that little small shear will make a big difference in how it runs. Make a big difference. So I've got a bunch of new flywheel keys. I'm going to put a flywheel key in it. We'll get her running. So the new key is in, and now I'm going to do the reverse procedure as what I showed y'all earlier, and I'm going to add a couple of bolts that need to be added. So that's it. We'll see it back together here in just a second. Alright, we're going to try this thing out with the new flywheel key. We're just a shade better. I'm going to let it run for a little bit. I mean, just a shade. But I can live with that. We'll let it run for a little bit and see what happens. Then we'll work on the self-propel. Alright, so I pulled the cover up and out of the way. It was a couple of torque screws. Should have done the 2 on the bottom there, but oh well. Changed out the self-propel cable because the other one y'all saw was only being held on by 2 little threads. Found one that was similar enough, but I had to retrofit a handle here. Retrofit a handle, and I'm pulling it here. Cable's working good. There's a little bit of bind up in it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. The handle isn't exactly fit for this mower, but it does line up with the bar here, and it works, so that'll do for now. So I'll put the cover back on. Run out of time today, but the next time I'll get out here I will do a service on it. So I did a few more things to it, but it is cleaned up and ready to go now. I ended up having to take the air filter housing off and then reseating the needle and stuff by just blowing compressed air in there because it was running rich, and it ended up fouling up the spark plug that was in it. And it seems to run better now. I just got it cleaned up, so let me give this thing a start, and we'll see how she does. Pretty good now, so again, it's not perfect. The self-propel cable or the self-propel works on it. So with the 360-degree wheels, that'll make a good mower for somebody, even if they want to use it for commercial use. But yeah, everything seems to be alright. It's not quite perfect. I'll let it run for a little while longer. But granted that this mower was free, I think I'll make out pretty well on it. I don't know exactly what I'll ask for. Probably between $150 and $200. But I've got quite a few more coming, so stay tuned here for more videos. But for right now, got this one going again. Seems to be alright. And thank you all for watching.